Hi everyone. One thing that's really common when you have MS is having this fear of falling. And maybe it's because you've fallen in the past, or you just feel really unsteady when you're walking and you fear it might lead to a fall. It's a very valid concern, and I'm going to address that in today's video. I'm going to give you some exercises and some strategies that you can utilize today to start improving your strength, leading to improved walking and reduced fear of falling. Before I get to demonstrating any exercises, it's really important to understand how much actually goes into walking. So often when I'm working with a client, they will tell me that they want to improve their walking, but they view walking as just this one big thing. And in fact, there's lots of little things that make up walking. You need to have good strength in order to walk forward. You need to be able to have enough strength to bend your knee, to lift your leg, to lift your ankle up. Without strength in those areas, walking is going to be so much harder and it can absolutely lead to a fall. And that doesn't even count the strength required for our core muscles. Another thing that we need is flexibility in these same muscle groups. If your hip flexors are really tight, that can make you hinge forward when you're walking, and that can lead to a fall. If your hamstring muscles are really tight, that might mean you're walking crouched down with your knees bent. If your front of your thighs are tight, that might mean that your leg stays rigid. And when it's rigid, that can also lead to a fall. If your calf muscles are really tight, that can make foot drop worse. So if you have tightness in any of your leg muscles, especially excessive tightness or spasticity, that can lead to increased falls. Coordination is another thing that's required for walking, and you need coordination in your upper body and in your lower body. The coordination in your upper body is your arm swing. If you don't have coordination with this movement, you are much more likely to fall while walking. Our body is meant to move in a reciprocal way, with one arm or one leg forward at a time and alternating back and forth. And this is true even if you use a mobility aid, whether it's a single mobility aid like a cane or a single trekking pole, or if you use something on both sides like 2 canes, 2 trekking poles, a walker, or a rollator. And you also need coordination in your legs. If you are someone who feels like when you're walking forward, you feel like you're drunk, or maybe your leg, instead of placing it right in front of you, it sometimes falls across your body or out to the side, and you never really know where your foot is going to land, that is an issue of leg coordination. And finally, this is probably the most obvious one, but walking requires good balance. Not only that, it requires balancing on one leg as well as in a staggered stance. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to demonstrate some exercises that you can do based on which areas of weakness you have. Today we are going to focus on balancing. So if you feel like your poor balance is one of the biggest reasons that you're fearful of falling, if you feel like when you're walking, it feels like you look like you're drunk and you have one foot coming in or out and you don't know where your foot is going, tune in. We're gonna do some exercises and some strategies to help you feel more confident with your balance and coordination, and ideally reducing that fear of falling. The 2 main positions you need balance in as you're walking is a staggered stance. So if you notice, if I take 2 steps forward, let me back up a little here. If I take 2 steps forward, I'm in staggered stance, now I'm on one leg. Staggered stance, one leg. Staggered stance, one leg. Staggered stance, one leg. That was a lot more than just 2 steps, but you get it. Those 2 positions are staggered stance and one leg. Staggered stance and one leg. So you're gonna wanna practice those 2 positions. Again, feel free to use a mobility aid, use a countertop, use something so that you stay stable and safe. Coordination This is a really big one that a lot of people forget about, but you might actually have okay strength and okay balance, but when you're walking, your foot might land over here sometimes, or maybe your next step is over here, and you don't know where your foot's gonna be. That can really throw you off, and if you're using a mobility aid, that puts you at even higher of a risk for falling. So what you can do is practice placing your foot where you want it to go. For example, this is actually a really great rug to be using, but this can be done on any surface. Find an object. It could be a Post-it note. If you have a floor like this is a floral pattern, so I'm just going to find this flower right here is one that I'm going to aim for. If you have tiles on your floor, it could be where the tiles meet. So you're going to find something on the floor and practice hitting it with your heel and then back. So you're being very intentional with where you want your heel to go and back. So you would practice this exercise. That's what's going to help with leg coordination. Of course, you do the same thing on both sides, but you also want to practice your arm swing. So often I have clients who are not walking well, and when they're not walking well, this is what their arms look like. They don't move their arms at all. Or they do move their arms, but just one of them. One will stay straight and the other one moves. And that is not how our body is meant to move. So practice swinging your arms. I know that was a really quick overview, but I hope it gave you some insight as well as some exercises and strategies that you can start implementing to work towards improving your balance and coordination. And the reason I love sharing these is because when you can improve those things, not only are you reducing your fear of falling, you're also improving your confidence and you're improving your freedom. Again, this was a quick overview. If you are interested in any of these exercises, all of these are in the missing link, my online MS wellness program, in addition to hundreds of other exercises that are MS specific, designed to help your brain find those neural pathways and strengthen your muscles. Not only that, but there are 2 different calendars in the missing link that tell you exactly which exercises to do each day. So you don't have to worry that you have too many exercises and you don't know what to do. You will have the guidance that you need in order to actually see results in your improvement of walking. If you want more information on the missing link, I will put a link down in the show notes where you can actually sign up for a call with me where I can show you the program on Zoom and answer any questions that you have. Or if you prefer to watch a recording, I have a behind the scenes video that gives you the inside scoop and shows you exactly what the program looks like. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.